Hello, you magical creatures. Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is it Standard Time? Eastern Time, anyways. All right, big news here. I feel like I've, maybe they're overstating things, not, but I feel like I'm a little bit of a trendsetter. With all the discussion about poop. There's an article in the USA Today online talking about whether it is better to flush with the toilet down or the toilet seat down or up. Apparently, this microbiologist Charles Gerba and his team, his research team at the University of Arizona, studied that. So somebody has to fund that, right? Mimsy, what's happening? Magical creature. So somebody has to fund doing a study whether the toilet seat should be up or down when you flush. Charles Gerba and his research team. He's a microbiologist. He's been studying toilet germs. Apparently, so they do an article in USA Today to tell you that there's no difference whether you have the toilet seat up or down. So we've done an article to tell you it doesn't matter. Susan Brooks. Yes, this is what they really say. I would not make poop stories up, right? You understand, Susan? That's serious business. Again, trend setting. That's what we do here at True Good Life. We set trends. Lorraine, you magical creature. So Charles Gerba. Hey, Mr. Gerba, Professor Gerba. What should we flush with the seat up or down? It does not matter. Although I'll tell you, I flew to Vegas, then flew to LA, and then flew back from LA to New York. And when you go take a poop or a pee in an airplane toilet, I think it's very important to put that seat down because that sucker is going to explode. It sounds like, right? Bruce Levine, you Texas Longhorn, you Longhorner, Horn. Oh goodness. So okay, does everybody? I'm trying to think. Well, I'm here by myself, so I don't put the seat down, do I? No, I don't put the seat down. I don't even put the seat or the lid down. Well, if I poop, obviously, then I've put the seat down. I hover. But the fact that they've done a study on that, like, okay, kids are homeless, crime, drugs, wars going on, and we're going to study whether the toilet lid should be up or down. Okay. Tell me, does that make sense? Like, whose world is that going to change? Like, are we solving world peace or curing cancer or something? We're determining whether the seat should be up or down, the lid. Good. Maybe you can add that as chapter 2 your book. Yeah. Oh, that Susan's so funny. Just so funny. Well, because, that could be a chapter. The trend setting part of it is like because I'm here openly. A lot of people don't have the strength to talk about pooping, right? But I'm here to do it. I'm here to help others. And now Dr. Gerba, Charles Gerba, University of Arizona, Professor Gerba, he's a microbiologist who's studying feces matter. My youngest son, Cody, he used to, if he was eating in a room and I farted, he would get very upset with me because the fecal matter, that isn't that anymore, but it's very scientific. So the fecal matter flying around. So, of course, he had to fart when he was eating. Charles Gerba. What do you mean Gerba is? What nationality is that? German? Gerba. Charles Gerba. Professor Gerba. Microbiologist. Does we call him professor? Professor? Or doctor? I think he's a microbiologist. Professor. No, maybe it's doctor. Professor, doctor. Doctor, professor. How is everybody doing out there? Magical world. So now we've gone from freezing. Okay, have we discussed? I guess on Monday we discussed the whole trip to Vegas. But maybe people didn't watch the Monday show. We'll go through that again. Let me see. The origin of the feces. Yeah. The origin of the that's right, Danny. The origin of the feces. Man, oh man, oh man. So the Vegas trip to LA then after was a blast. Thanks to Jackie Di Piazza and Mike Fasulo from the New York Rangers for arranging that and putting it all together. Jackie did a lot of work on that, Mike as well. First class, picked us up in cars. So it was a group of us, myself, Brian Mullen, Nick Fotiu, Adam Graves, Stefan Matteau, Darren Langdon, Mike Hartman, Mike Richter, Ron Greshner. I think that's who it was. That was the crew. And wives. Well, didn't bring my wives, their ex-wives, but the people that were currently married brought their wives. To Vegas, put us up at the Caesars Hotel. Went to the game on Thursday night. A bunch of fans there as well in the suite. Beautiful. Saw George McPhee, former New York Ranger, now the president of the Stanley Cup champion Vegas Golden Knights. Good to see him. And I mean, this is a total confidence. George, like, he's got that right on the edge of being a little cocky, but total confidence. But he's really, like, it's interesting. I was talking to another GM about him too, that they thought, oh God, he's going to get really cocky now they won the cup. Exact opposite. Just like it humbled him, and it was really interesting to see how it went. And I mean that as total confidence. George is that confident man, right? He has to be to do the things he's done as a player, as a fighter, as a he's really good GM. Putting the team together, largely putting the team together there in Washington that won the cup. And so it's good to see him. Good morning, Tom. Vegas has exploded in the sports. Well, yes, it has. Since the NHL came there, it's turned into beautiful hotels. The Caesars Hotel has all been fixed up. Beautiful. We went for lunch on Friday at Fontainebleau Hotel, and that's a huge hotel. Beautiful. It's just the whole gambling scene. It's just not my thing, right? Like, you're in the casino, no windows, cigarette smoke. I didn't realize they smoked there. So that's the number one for me. Gone. And it's just a different lifestyle that I'm into. Right? A lot of shady characters. And then when I went out for my 3:53 morning video, walking through the casino, it's like the middle of the day, and then walking outside, it was all the hookers going home. And they're getting me like, what's this guy doing? He's out there taking a video at 3:53 in the morning. Oh goodness. I should have got one to come on and do the video with me. I wasn't thinking though. They were looking like they just crawled out of bed. So I thought I'd leave them alone. I never know what, probably had showered or anything. So with Steve Gentero, nope, they were not. They're good friends now. They worked together for Washington Capitals. Steve, the General Richmond, great guy. Still works for Washington Capitals. Player development, I think he's the head of player development as his title. Good to see Georgie, though. He was doing well. And that's a fantastic facility, too. And then, so then we went to the Sphere on Friday night. That was excellent. I'll tell you, if anybody goes to Vegas, you've got to go to the Sphere. Got to. I'm frozen again. Yeah, what is going on? All right, bear with me, everybody. 2 seconds. We're right back. We just got to reboot. Right back. All right, we're back. I got to get Deborah on that. Deborah Merschenheiser. Very disturbing story. Yes. So the story goes, anyways, what I've heard, I don't know the details, any intimate details or anything like that, but apparently there's 5 players. The story I read today was that it was in London, Ontario, I think it was, and bunch of players met this young woman and apparently went and there was some physical, apparently initially it was consensual. And then some other players came on board, and these 5 players are the ones that are NHL players, then again, assaulted her or whatever, did something against her will. And according to the story, there's some settlement made with Hockey Canada, but there's no statute of limitations on it. So something changed. And again, I don't know the exact details. I'm telling you what I read. The players, it was interesting. Carter Hart was one of them in Philadelphia, the goaltender there. And a couple of days earlier before the news came out, he was granted leave of absence. And unfortunate to just for the women involved, for the young guys, if it is all true. And again, you have to, we've been through this before, you can't doubt the person that's accusations have to go through the process, because that is part of the issue. Is she was abused, and if there's is there physical trauma, mental trauma, and she needs support as well. Yes, we're hockey fans. We care about the young men, but she needs support as well if it is all true. Let me see. Yeah, yes, Sarge had a hard time getting on the show one time. So, Barry Shelley, how are you doing, Magical Creature? Yeah, two in the Devils, one in Philadelphia, one in I can't remember where the other ones were. Yeah, so again, all around sad story. And again, we are hockey fans, obviously, so we care about the young men. But I think it's really important that we go through they go through the legal process, whatever that is, and the young woman has to be thought about too. So it isn't just the players. It's. By no means do I want to make excuses for this. So I want to be very clear. I just want to try to paint the picture for everybody, the mindset. Again, I don't know these guys, but just in general, living through it, we're allowed to, as athletes, particularly up in Canada with hockey, we're like gods as hockey players, treated totally differently, allowed to get away with things we shouldn't get away with. So then you've got, these young men. I guess they must have been, I don't know, like 18 years old, whatever it was at the time. And now they are walking around they think they can do whatever they want to do and get away with it. And again, that is not an excuse. I'm just trying to paint the picture for you to see what these guys, where they come from that mentality. And so you see, sometimes when you see athletes get in trouble in any sport, people say, well, geez, why would they do that? They're making so much money and everything. And that's why they're allowed to do it and they get away with it. And the stuff that we don't hear about is way worse. It happens way more often than we want to understand. Let me see here. Yep. Again, no excuses for any of it, but yes, that's just a fact. And other stuff as well. And again, I don't want to accuse these guys that don't know the details of the story. But so sad story for everybody involved, including the young woman. And again, that's what's really important. There's so much abuse out there that we don't hear about. Women, men, kids, everybody. And we need to really, that's what I learned a lot. And we talked about this before when Sheldon Kennedy, the case came to me. I can't remember how long ago that was. When he first told me about his abuse, I was clueless. I didn't know what the depths of how often it happened, what to do about it, the mental trauma. And obviously learned a lot during that situation since then as well. So, yes. I hope Tracy shows you that kind of respect to you. You know what, Barry? Good, excellent point by you. And I apologize. I should have brought that up more. You see, now you're a trendsetter as well. I felt like I'm setting the trends there with the whole poop conversation, but you're the whole respect conversation. You're the trendsetter. And hopefully, Tracy. She's probably there right now. She's realizing she's probably like in tears right now, realizing, wow, why couldn't I be like Barry Shelley, right? You show respect for Tom the way Barry does. That's probably what's going on right now behind the scenes. She'll probably contact me later on, feeling like she'll probably like outpouring of emotion. So again, the big story. See, here's where we're the trendsetter. We talk about this poop, and a lot of people don't want to talk about poop, but they did a study. Charles Burga, University of Arizona, Burga. The study on whether you should flush the toilet with the lid down or up. It does not matter. Yeah, totally true. And again, no excuses. We did a podcast yesterday. Tom Smith and I did with Kelly Miller, former New York Ranger, and really, it was a great conversation because he was treated. It's not like we mistreated him, but he was treated. He came in, it was kind of like a changing of the guard. It was the old school guys like myself that were, you go for dinner after a game, you got to drink beer with the boys and everything. And, I've told him and Mike Ridley would order, a glass of milk, and we were outraged. Like, what is going on with these guys? And it's like, just that old school mentality. Excuse me. The shaving hazing that the Rangers did upon the rookies would. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very true. And it's pointless too. Geez, look back and that's like, what were you thinking? Like, what was the purpose of all that? It's just something, what it is too. I think it's young people in general, maybe old, we just fall into that rut of this is what we've always done. This is what we're going to continue to do. Yeah, just stupid stuff. It made no sense. Didn't help the team. And I felt that I was a great team player. That was that big thing for me to be a team player. But looking back at that, that served no purpose. The hazing. So let me see. Fourth Nation speech. Yeah, you've done it, Barry. A great job by you. That's a real breakthrough there to make Tracy Marie not be able to talk. She's like, again, probably in tears someplace, probably in the middle of a meeting, and she read their message and just started crying. Had to leave the meeting. And she went and flushed it and went and pooped in the toilet and put the lid down. And it really didn't matter if she put the lid down or not. The feces matter, was just going to fly around. One of those players have played here in most of the season so far. The team knows he's taking leave of absence. Yes. Interesting that they've taken a leave of absence. Again, you can't read too much into that. You assume that it's something very serious, and I'm trying to guess. Would it if there was if it was baseless? Well, I don't want to assume that. If somebody comes up with something like that, then you have to believe them. Let me see here. One of the worst trades. Mike Ridley. I know. So we talked about that yesterday on the show. So ends up being, so they ended up trading Kelly Miller, Mike Ridley, myself, Bobby Carpenter for Marcel Dionne, who's a great player, but man, well past his prime, his career. And it's funny. It tells a funny story. I don't want to ruin it. I want you guys to listen to the podcast. That's Full Change on all podcast platforms. Please like, share, and comment, particularly on Apple Podcasts. That really helps us the most. It's a funny story of the trade day, the phone call you got from Phil Sweet. We didn't realize the way Phil handled it, but listen to that. Pretty cool. But Kelly Miller, we've had Dallas Drake on the show. He was a client of mine when I was an agent, and he and Kelly Miller would be the two, probably, I mean, not the most, but two of the most guys that got the most out of their career. Skilled players enough, but their work ethic and showing up every day and playing, it was just incredible. So, yeah, because he's such a Kelly Miller again is just like hardworking, disciplined, do everything that's right for your body, and that's old school guys back then were, it just wasn't our thing. And the stupid thing was too, we didn't want to accept. Well, we did eventually, but at first we didn't accept. Just let him do his thing, because we're all doing our thing. Like we did. We just, it was that changing the guard, fighting that didn't want things to change. We wanted to stay the same way. And good morning, Deb. Deb, I know you told me before, but I got to fix my computer. It keeps freezing. It froze already. I know you told me something about the drives or something. I got to clean them up. Yes, it did happen 5 years ago. Again, from what I read, there is no statute of limitations on this issue with the 5 players from Team Canada that were playing professional hockey and kind of walked away, had to take a leave of absence. The young woman, I don't know all the details, but from what I read, it appears she came to a settlement with Hockey Canada. But then I really don't know what happened. Again, we've been through this before where you don't know. And again, learning this from Sheldon Kennedy. So some people say, well, why did it take 5 years? Why did it take 10 years? Why did it take 20 years for the person to come forward? It's just, you don't know their mental state, their support group, the details. Was she threatened in some way? Who knows what the details were? So I really learned you can't. I met this female police officer up in Danbury, this is Danbury, Connecticut, and she waited like 30 years before she came forward. She just didn't have the strength. And part of what happens when you don't initially come forward, then you think, okay, people are going to doubt me. I don't have the courage to do it, and so there's no telling how. So I know it's not a bad question by you, Barry. It's just that. We really don't know why people wait. So let me see here. Deb just shoved Tracy's shirt fall. But again, I think though, Barry, what you've done, and rightfully so, you've really educated her. She probably feels terrible for the treatment she's given me. And you've set the precedent to show her about having respect. And she probably is kind of regrouping right now. She's probably, maybe she could be in the bathroom too, kind of confused whether she put the toilet seat, the lid up or down when she flushes. So that could be the confusion for her. She'll probably look up the article for Dr. Charles Berga from University of Arizona. He's a microbiologist studying whether you should put the toilet lid up or down. Now, I guess that's something that's important to who I don't know, but what's stopping you from fixing your computer? Well, great question by you, Deb. So you ever like sometimes, okay, you get a problem and you fix it temporarily, like I reboot it and it works fine. And then you run around and say, okay, we got to get that later. And then you forget to do that. And then all of a sudden it goes bad again. It's like every show pretty much goes bad. So I do need to fix that. And geez, did Deb kind of jump on me there and reprimand me? What's stopping you? Oh, man, Deb. Man, huh. I thought Raylan would have amounted to more. Yeah, good player. I can't remember what happened to him. Yeah, he was a really good player. Excellent player. I mean, I watched some more videos of him playing on the point in the power play. He's a funny guy, too. He kind of loses his mind a little bit once in a while. Poor defense time. Yeah, when I watch them play, like the start of the year, you go, wow, that's a good team. It's a disciplined team, sticking to the details. Well, I really paid attention. I was out there, particularly in the Vegas game. Little things like so it's tougher now to cover somebody in front of the net. Like in the old days, you could punch the guy in the head, cross check and all that. So you really have to pay attention to be on this. To me, this is the proper way to play it. I don't know what the coaches are telling their players, but to be on the stick side of the player. So if he's a left-handed shot, be there so you can either tie up his stick or lift it up off the ice. There's maybe 3 or 4 goals in the Vegas game where the player was on the wrong side of the opposition, of the offensive player. And some of that is, again, you've really got to pay attention. It's tougher to play that. To win games and play this, just a small difference between winning and losing in the National Hockey League. And all these teams are good teams. All players are good. Some are obviously got a better lineups than others. But so the difference between winning and losing and stopping, it's all about details, paying attention to details. Those kind of things where you're tying up the stick. Obviously, if you're on the opposite side of the player's body than the stick, you can't get to a stick. If you're going to try to, then you're going to get a hooking penalty probably. So little things like that, taking that extra step to get in the right place to play good defense. And that's around the league, the defense play in the your defensive zone. There's a lot of teams that have problems with that. The players aren't really, I think they are taught, but it's more like the game now is go, 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 right? So a defensive more now, your focus is getting the puck out of your own zone. When we played, it's more, and again, don't get me wrong, we made mistakes too in our own defensive zone. It wasn't like we were perfect. When goals are scored, very often it's because mistakes are made. That's hockey. So pay attention to details because they're embarrassing. Yeah. There's a lot of that going on. So victims of abuse, kids, adults, whatever it is, there's so many thoughts going on in their head. Are people going, like if it's a man on boy, and I know I went through this with Sheldon Kennedy, was there fear about the gay issue? Like again, in Sheldon Kennedy's case, he didn't want to tell anybody because he thought his mother, she knew she would bring him home where he was safe, then his NHL dream would die. If he told his father was that hard farm boy, they'd beat him over the head with a hammer or something. Because it's just, like again, the whole gay issue. So let's see here. My buddy Brian Duffy saw him in the Vegas airport. Good morning. Finally lived home last night from the road trip. Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there. I think it was on the phone or something. All of a sudden, this guy's pointing at me. Who's this guy? My buddy Brian Duffy. Good to meet him. Good to meet him. And I was bad luck. So they went 0-2 the 2 games I was there. And I left and they won. So, yeah, you're right, Barry. That's the thing. I don't like to talk about Survivor. I mean, yes. Okay. All right. A little tough love here, right? Yeah, she's encouraging me. Is there something that's stopping you from fixing it? Deborah. Following Tom's lead, but that really worked well. Yeah, move somebody from that. It was going to be me that was moved. Oh God, what a good man too. Unfortunately, we lost him, but he wasn't. It's funny. You get to know somebody, a guy like that. And he's like when you're playing against him, like he seemed like he was 10 feet tall. Oh God, good guy though, really good. I'll never forget when he contacted me. We've met each other before, but he contacted me. We were doing the podcast with Gresh and Dave and Dukes, and he was like a little kid. He's like, "Oh, can I come on, Tommy? Can I come on?" Sure, you can, Clark. You can do whatever you want to do. Good guy. Let's see, yeah. I think yesterday was the 40th anniversary of Macintosh computer. Remarkable. I remember I did a Steve Jobs interview. Oh, wow. 40 years. Wow. I guess that is too, right? 23. Wow. So, yeah, because I remember, wow, that's amazing. I remember when I was out in LA playing, we had a charity golf tournament or something. I won a cell phone, but it was like the big box with a, with the cable on it and handset or headset or whatever. I think I gave it away to somebody. Like, what am I ever going to do with this? This isn't going to go anywhere. So, messaged her the other day and told her today was National PK. See, I think what it is, Barry, again, it's you deserve full credit for this. I think it's really you kind of trying to show her that it's okay to have respect for Tom Laidlaw, and I think that she just got overwhelmed with the emotion. And again, probably crying, went to the bathroom, heard me say about putting the toilet lid up or down, where it didn't matter. And then she got totally confused. What do I do now? What do I do? Like if Tom said it was okay to put the seat down or lid down, then I put it down. But Tom said it's like, it doesn't matter. So she's confused. So I probably should have given her more guidance. I should have said, okay, by this study of Dr. Gerber, he says it doesn't matter, but I should have taken more of a stance on it. I'd recommend putting it down. Like I said, especially in the plane, when you flush that toilet, you think it's going to fly up like a waterfall, like what is it? Yellowstone, those gushers at Yellowstone, fly up out of the toilet there like a poop flying up in the air. You know what? One thing that I think the dogs are following me around. I think on 2 out of the 3 flights, there's dogs on the plane. They're barking. The one was barking on the way to Vegas. Like, it wasn't really a bark too. It's just kind of a whine, like Tracy whining, some kind of thing. What's going on today? We've got a phone call, or actually have a Google Meets call with Sue Matteau, Stefan Matteau's wife, lovely wife, and Corey Schneider. We're going to get together and do some speaking engagements stuff and Steph as well. Sue's that's her business. That's her field. She's big into marketing and everything. Very intelligent woman. I don't know what she was thinking when she got married to Stefan Matteau. Let me see here. At my sister's house, I probably leave the seat up. She goes, wow. That's funny to get. You know that bothers somebody and they do it anyways. Oh, that's funny. Funny stuff. So our Vegas trip was up. I tell you, if you go to Vegas, you have to go to the Sphere. Oh man, it's just a whole. I swear, I may be exaggerating a little bit. But I think the screen, it had to be close to the size of a football field. It was incredible. And then it's one of those things where like the elephants run by. So it's like the elephants are running right at you, like this big interactive curved screen. And then the seats shake, the ground is shaking. And you're sitting there at certain times too, there's like a breeze. They've got these big fans and the breeze is blowing. And you forget at first you think, okay, that's natural. But then you realize I'm sitting inside. It's really cool the way they did it all. And the show, it was an hour-long show. I can't remember what it was titled, but it was basically going through how the earth was formed, the Grand Canyon and all that kind of stuff. And funny stuff, like I'm sitting by Adam Graves here, both like whoa, because they get the camera, I don't know if it must have been a helicopter, and going low to the ground, and then it's the drop off into the Grand Canyon, but it's so realistic. It's like you feel like you're walking off the cliff. And so it was cool. And then so basically it's going through, and then how we've kind of hurt the earth with all the, it's in a lot of slums and pollution and everything. And how the theory is then that the earth is damaged beyond repair. And then these modern day Adam and Eve take off in a spaceship and go to another planet, which is all rock and everything. They have this magic ball that they then throw out, and it creates, the grass and water and everything similar to Earth. So it made you think too, but like, man, they realistic. It was like, I don't like heights at all. And it was weird. Like I'm leaning back in the seat that's going over the cliffs there. So, no, it didn't get to meet Darren Banks. I forgot he's out there. Yeah. Again, the Rangers are fantastic to set it up for us. They didn't have to do this. It was kind of like a thank you trip for us. But again, it's just, the whole gambling scene and the cigarette smoke just isn't my scene. But the trip itself was excellent. Jackie went to a lot of work had a nice meal at the lunch at the Fontainebleau Hotel. Beautiful hotel. Man, big and everything. And it's good. Got to sat beside Nick Fotillo the whole time, listening to him tell stories about himself. And I feel like smacking him but then again, pie face. Yes, sounds like the ultimate IMAX in surround. Yeah, the sound, everything was cool. Man, it was a real experience. Everybody was like, well, Gresh fell asleep, but other than that. Ooh, yeah. I'm disappointed. I thought Tom was going to hop on a motorcycle and jump over some buses at Caesar's Palace. Nice hotel. I guess that really got run down over the years, but they've all fixed it up now. Two of the statues there were telling me that their favorite podcast was the Full Change podcast. Good food. I'll tell you what, good food in Vegas. Man, like good choices, healthy food. But there's a nice little cafe there in Caesars. Expensive though, but I had lunch there one day and breakfast a couple times. They had good eggs Benedict. Got good French. The English muffins. You gotta have a fresh English muffin. You can't have like that hard English muffin. It's gotta be fresh. With fruit. I know it's the eggs Benedict, the cream and everything, that sauce, very tasty, but a little fattening. But then it has the fruit with it. How they drink any coffee too now, but I had cups of coffee while I was on the road. They didn't have any healthy, there was, I shouldn't say it. There's some places for smoothies. Really gotten in. So really getting into the sourdough dough. So the whole process, if you don't know, sourdough, you gotta make sourdough starter, which takes 7 to 10 days. It's basically, it ferments. It's just flour and water. You keep it out. I cover mine, but keep it out on the counter. Yeah, we put things counter. It's interesting that's called a counter, but you can counter punch too, but it's also a counter. You spit things off. So we have a lot of words like that in English language where it's the same word, different meaning. I don't know if you know that or not. So you get the starter going, and what you do then is every day while you're getting going, you remove some and make it into your discard. You're discarding the sourdough starter, and then you put more, and then it builds up, and then it starts to bubble and everything fermenting. So that creates the sourdough. So it starts to smell sour and everything. And do it for 7 to 10 days. Then you can start making your own sourdough bread. So I've done that already. And that's going to be our Sunday meal. I wanted to get it going already because I couldn't wait. But it's all recorded and everything. So I'll be totally honest on that. It's not actually being cooked on Sunday. But oh man, I'm learning too. You got to there's a whole process of you got to stretch and fold. You let it rise. You call it proofing when it rises. And then you go through this whole process. You try to make the dough. You pull it towards you on the counter. There's a whole process to it and everything. So and again, mine I made mine a little bit too wet. Nothing wrong with too wet in some cases, but making your sourdough bread, you don't want it too wet. So. Greasy spoon in Vegas. I don't mind a greasy spoon every once in a while. In fact, oh man, although because I hardly ever, where I go get my oil change, there's a little greasy spoon close by there, and I love going there. But it's all like the fried hash browns and everything which tastes great because I never eat fried food anymore. When I eat fried, oh man, I feel like I'll be sick when I eat fried food. So. We're all vegetables and all women just gave. Oh no. I didn't see that many attractive women in Vegas either, to tell you the truth. It was kind of the whole although it was hard. I couldn't tell. I don't know if they're all hookers or not, but some of the women were dressing like not a whole lot of clothes. Young women too. It's like, where's your father? But I guess that's Vegas. Yes, one girl did say to me, I was going out to do my video at 3:45 or whatever, it was in the 3:53 video. And she comes up and she clearly had a few cocktails and probably working. And says, where have you been? Yeah. I've been. You see, Shecky Green, the great comic, just died. He told the story of being a bad drunk and crashing into Caesar's waterfall. That's funny. Yes, I was right near where I did the old video. Good call by you, Deborah. Good call by you. Oh, sourdough. Oh, so I also made from the starter. You can also make things like little chips. So I combined the sourdough starter discard with almond flour. Oh, I think I put a little honey in it too. Then put my parchment paper down on a cookie sheet, and then spread that out really thin, like maybe like 8 to an inch. Oh my goodness! And then so I didn't season it up too much, which is fine. So I made a nice batch of hummus, roasted red peppers and hummus, and so that I used those little chips. I cut them into little squares, use them to dip my hummus. So yeah, I, again, stayed away from too much salt. Had a little salt in the hummus, but that's what. See, yeah, I'm gonna make a sourdough bread ball. Philip, yes, good call. You and Deb on that. Yes, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll make another loaf. And you could, the thing is, too, you could freeze the sourdough, and apparently, from watching videos, you run it under water, right in the sink, and then just put it right in the oven. I'll use the air fryer for me on the rack, and it's like brand new. It's like fresh again from doing that. So I'll make another loaf, and whatever I have left over on this loaf, I'll. Good thinking by you, you two magical creatures, you Deb and Sue, Susan. I wonder if Susan ever goes by Sue. It wasn't Tracy. It was a woman of color, lovely woman, beautiful dark skin. Mark Stamps. Hi, Tom. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well. Yes, Mark Stamps. So again, my new gym, Crush in Port Chester. Large Hispanic population, really, really sweet people. Yes, I get. I don't know what I call it. I got talked into. So at the game, I was really good with my diet. Even though I was traveling pretty good, eat salad bowls and soup bowls, pasta bowl, not one of those protein bowls and all that. So it was pretty healthy. Got to LA. We're in the suite, and they come by with a little ice cream cart. Sweet little cute Hispanic woman. Of course, I'm a sucker for that. And I said, okay, should I get it or not? And she looks at me like cute and everything. Like, yes, you should. Yes, you should. So of course I had to get the cheesecake. Plain cheesecake with a little chocolate sauce on. She was so sweet and everything. I yelled at her later. I said, "Don't! You took advantage of me." She was so sweet. She was kind of smiling, like, "Oh, sure, you're so cute." My buddy and wife used to live in Walnut Creek, California. Sourdough bread was everywhere. Yeah, it's turned into a thing now. A lot of videos, all the different methods. I mean, like it's this whole folding technique. There's different styles of folding. But I'm like, you really there's a lot of that's not necessarily work. It's not that long. It's like 5 minutes. Then you let it proof, which is rising, and then you come back, you fold it again, seal it up. There's all these techniques to it. And I'm still mastering it, but getting better. You want to get that nice, like fluffy. A lot of recipes have like really crispy on the outside. I don't like mine like that. A little crispy, but not. Next Little Chef with Gordon Ramsay. Yeah, you know what? I got to get back on that. Susan Brooks. I got to get back on that. The whole cookie show thing. Yeah. So now, like, I've got the bread maker and everything, but I actually enjoy I think it's really, oh man, no need to buy bread anymore. All the preservatives and additives in the bread you get in the stores. Yeah. Discussing Rangers. He sounds like he could be a coach, old school discipline. Rainbow. Yeah, I haven't listened to him. But he's played a couple of, at least one charity game out in against the Islanders. He played that, very intelligent young man. He's funny too, talking about how now that he's home and retired, well, maybe not because he's doing TV, but he was saying at that time the wife really she's got him doing all the stuff in the morning with the kids and the whole bit. I think she was saying that she runs off to the gym now. Good figures, because when he was playing, he was going to practice and she had to take care of the kids. So you said Nikki's self-comedy claims to be a great cook. Nikki likes to talk about himself a lot, tell little stories about himself. Yeah. He was talking about him and Brian Mullen were talking about Link Gates. Brian had played with Link in San Jose, I believe, and Nikki had coached him for a while. Nikki claims he got into a fight with him. Let me see. Let me see. Where do I find you like this? Oh yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Go off like that and then snap on him. There was one thing that was on Survivor too. They have these young people, like, and if you especially when you're playing the game, now you've met your teammates and you're talking all the time. Now, when you go on a boat to go to the challenge or a tribal council, they don't want you talking at all. They want all interaction on camera. So you're on the boat and you're looking at each other like you just been living on the island together. So they have these young people there, and if you go to talk or look at you talking something, they yell at you, "Hey, stop it! Hey, shut up!" Don't yell at me. I'm 60 years old, for God's sakes, not yelling at me. Actually, the casting director yelled at me when we went for casting in LA. I was like, what? Watch yourself and get hurt. Let me see here. I get hurt. Did a fan ever ask you for a kiss instead of another? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We were at an event a couple of years ago in the city, one of the viewing parties. And I can't remember how it came about. But this one girl, she had all kinds of lipstick on too. And she says there's something was happening, and she had to, she could do something. I can't remember how it came about. She says, "You're not going to like this." And I didn't know what she was talking about. And she jumped on me with her legs around me, her arms around me, and I got away. It wasn't that I mind her kissing me; it's the lipstick and everything too. It's like she's like, what's her name? Taylor Swift. Like, what's Taylor Swift? Did she get a tattoo on her lips? That's disgusting. You know how unhealthy that is, all that makeup and everything. God. Like, I don't find her attractive at all. Like, oof, man. Did you see Travis Kelce? He scored in one of the last game, and I guess the crowd must have been giving him a hard time at Buffalo. And he goes by making the heart symbol, like the love thing. Like, you're an NFL football player. Yeah. Hey, good people, please leave your. Oh, Tom Smith. That's right. We've already said that, Tom, but we can say it again. So, Full Change Podcast had Kelly Miller on yesterday. Out today is Ed Belfour. Out yesterday was Ed Belfour. Interesting guy right there, man. So please like, share, and comment, particularly on Apple Podcast Place. It's on all Apple, or should be all podcast platforms. But Eddie Belfour School. I know I've told this. We were in Dallas, and Craig Ludwig was interviewing him, and Eddie's had some problems with alcohol and the fast, and he's now opened up a whiskey distillery. So Ludwig says to me, "Do we think this is a good idea? You and alcohol?" And he was funny. He goes, "I like to drink." He just, I like to drink. Let me see. I heard that 30 years ago the Gates was loaded and Nikki was coaching. I told him to go home. He did tell a few stories. I don't know if it's living or not, but if you heard that, I wouldn't doubt it. Nikki, oh my God, you're sitting there for 2 hours at lunch. You got to hear Nikki telling little stories about himself. You said, hey, Tom, you love Tom Laidlaw's show, and the other guy, Peter Boyle, Tom Smith. We got to get him to take that hat off. He's worried too much about his no hair. And get some sun on that dome. Tom Smith, you're great. Keep us. No kidding, right? Tracy picks on me. Tom Smith picks on me. Man, it's just not right. But I guess that's just my lot in life. I'll just have to learn to take it. Do you ask Nikki if he puts the seat up or down? I did not ask Nikki. I think based on the relationship I see with him now, his wife does that for him. Ooh, did she run the ship? Man, he's a different man. She got her all dressed differently, the modern clothes and everything, the shoes. Still walks like he's 100 years old, but looks a lot nicer. She's a real sweet person too. Very successful woman. She owns a lumber yard and about 70 rental properties. She's done very well in life. Very driven. Yeah, you can tell when business time comes around, she's a very sweet person, everything like that. But you can tell there's that side of her. You can tell, hey, especially within the lumber business, right? There's a whole bunch of guys driving trucks and everything. She probably has to just snap them around a little bit. Hey, smarten up, Nick, smarten up. We had Nick on the show. She had to set them all up on the computer. He can figure out how to get on, but he's not the only one like that. We had a few guys like that couldn't figure out. So funny. Remember we first did the show with Gresh and Dave Dukes. Gresh couldn't figure. It's actually very funny. He was on Upside Down. Well, he's not. He just puts on what she lays out in the bed, I think. I don't think it's him. Nikki Fatillo. Funny man. He's a funny dude. Him and Herb Brooks. Herb just loved him. He hated sometimes the way he played, but loved having Nikki on the team. Funny guy. What do we got here? Jackie Smith. Does Nikki still have the long hair in the back? He still have. Yeah, he still has. Not as bad, but it's still there like that. Yeah. What a great haircut. Oh, funny. Oh, Nikki. No, he does. Like, oh, I remember I did this. And I remember I did that. Yeah, I fought this guy. I fought that guy. Yeah, Nicky always talking about himself. He read his own book every day, talking about himself. We're trying to get him on the Full Change podcast. I think his wife won't let him come on. I think that's what it is. I mean, I don't want to shame him into coming on or anything like that. Embarrass him, but I think it's his wife won't let him on. I mean, if he wants to prove me wrong and come on the show, that'd be great. But as of now, he keeps saying no. We had him on the other show. He was the biggest. We had like 10,000 views on that one. That was the biggest response we had on any show. I think people really wanted to see if his head was really round, like I said it was, and like a pie shape. And that's what it was. Yeah. He's a good storyteller too. I don't know. See, that's the thing. I don't know if the stories are true or not, right? He tells these stories. Like my stories are all true. I mean, because I repeat them over and over. So if I was telling different versions of the story, then you'd say, well, geez, Tommy told us a different version last time. Tom Smith, I think, like, gets a little upset. I think he may overreact a little bit when I keep telling the same stories over and over. He gets a little sensitive. He does that. He gets a little sensitive. He's a sensitive guy. He's that modern, sensitive guy. He walks out here sometimes, not when it's raining, obviously, but he walked out here without his shoes on, like just socks on his feet. Like, what are you doing? And he said, well, I'm going to take them off anyways. Yeah, but you're going to walk, 50 feet to your car, and you're going to walk away from your car when you get home in the house, and you get no shoes on. Must be some like rare disease or something. Honestly, Nicky pissed me off because he never fought. After he had an attitude of not doing anything now. Wow, buddy. Oh, Jackson, Nicky. I would love to agree with you, but he fought. Yes, he fought lots, and very well too. That's a tough job, though. I'm telling you, especially as you get older. When you're younger, you're fully piss and vinegar and everything like that. But when you get older, you kind of get set. You're like, oh God, do I have to do this again? If there's someone you want on a podcast, but are hesitant to ask, is there someone? Not hesitant to ask anybody. I think, listen, love to get Wayne Gretzky, but he doesn't like doing that stuff. We're going to ask. He saw a friend of mine in the airport recently, and the guy said, hey, I know Tom Laidline. And Gretzky is really a gracious guy. And I think he really thinks about how people perceive him. And I'm not criticizing what he says. He said to the guy, oh, tell Tommy to call me. I haven't got his phone number. He knows I don't have his phone number. But he was a great guy. We got along fantastic. There's nothing. He was tremendous. Great teammate. Treated me fantastic. He was. I'd love to get him on. But there's lots of guys. I want to get Larry Robinson on too. I totally admire Larry, both as a player, but the way he carried himself and everything. So we're trying to get old Glenn Healy. He's a busy man too. Through him, we can get all the contact information for all the players. Again, I'm assuming he's going to want to go through the process of making sure he asks them first if he can give out their phone number, which totally understood. Some of these guys, like Larry Robinson, he's much more of an elite player. He doesn't want people bugging him all the time. We were teammates and get along fine. But I'd love to get him on, get his insights, some of the stories from Montreal. I just always admired him so much. I admire other players. Bobby Orr's the same way. But I'd love to get Bobby Orr too. I don't know if he'll. Well, he was. I'll tell you, I'd never met Bobby before. We were both agents. And whenever I called him up, he treated me like we were best friends. We've known each other for years. Like the whole bonding thing as players. There's an agent that was trying to get a hold of him. And I didn't know how Bobby felt about this agent, and it was kind of shady. I felt so. I said, "Okay, Bobby calling." Bobby's like, "Nope, I will never deal with that man. He's great to me, but very direct. He's not beat around, and he tells the truth." Well, yeah, when Gresh stole his shoes, yeah, Chris Nyland. That was funny stuff. Thinking about the old days with some of the stuff we do. Guys would fall asleep on the plane, would steal their shoes. I can't sleep on a plane now because I think somebody's going to get me back for all the things we did on the plane. Oh man. The players that played have a short fuse off the ice like we did on the ice. Typically, no, Barry. Most guys are like the tough guys are just great guys. Like Darren Langdon, as tough as nails, funny guy. He and his wife Jay were there. They had triplets. I don't know how old, I forgot how old they were. They told me. The one guy I heard was a jerk on and off the ice was Ben Wilson. We had Flocky Hockey, Ron Flockhart, on say how he had to go. He was rooming with Wilson, had to go to the team and say, "Listen, you got to change me. I can't room with him." I think it's just he would snap. He did some stupid things on the ice. Stuff that wasn't helping him win. Remember, I watched the playoff game. He went and hacked. It wasn't even that hard. He smacked Eddie Meal back of the head, skating by the net. just reached out, smacked him back head, just got a penalty. Remember we won that game like 9-2 or something like that because they just took stupid penalty after stupid penalty. And I remember we talked before that series too, because it wasn't the tough team that we had in 80, 81. And we just, listen, we're not going to fight these guys. So just skate away from their stuff. Don't even get involved in it. Don't, like, they want to draw us into stuff. Just don't do it. And just make sure our power play is going well. And we did. And they just, all the stupid stuff they did, didn't just beat them, we destroyed them. So I have a theory of fighters, many stop fighting after they get married, have a family. Well, you know what? I'll speak personally. Once I got married, and it kind of like settles you down, like you become more domesticated, right? Like we had, you're single, you've got more of that. I think I really lost not all of it, but that nastiness out in the ice. I wasn't the same player. And again, that's all on me. It's not the ex-wife's fault. It's just, if I was to do it again, I would never get married while I was playing. Yeah. For a lot of reasons. Just the whole lifestyle and everything. On that note, there were times players stayed in the locker room before that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I had one time, I don't know why, man, a game at the Garden, and we were playing terrible. I played terrible, and I just lost my mind in the locker room. I just smashing the doors in the restroom, and Robert Ftorek and I were pretty good friends. And he went to I think she was my wife at the time, and said, you may want to be careful. Tom's not in a real good mood. And I would never take it. I mean, when you go upstairs to where the wives lounge and everything like that, you leave whatever's going on in the game, you leave it there. So, let me see here. I would like to ask more if it's true that he placed an armchair in front of the net, would stand on the point and fire shots at the four corners of the net. Probably, man, he was good. And he was such a trendsetter, too. Like other guys weren't playing that way when he started. Like I've said before, there was that Sunday show at CBS, I think, where the NHL highlights, and I think it was like an hour-long show, and every week, like the last 10 minutes was devoted to highlights of Bobby Orr. Just, and like I said, great guy too, really good person. Like I think he treats everybody well. Like, and really loyal. Like Derek Sanderson went through him. Bobby Orr and Derek Sanderson were good friends. And there's many times he could have walked away from Derek. Derek went through his issues with drugs and alcohol, but Bobby stood by him, and he was his friend, and he was gonna. And publicly stood by him too. It wasn't just behind the scenes. I think he helped him even financially. Maybe not. I don't want to say that for sure, but I think because again, Derek went through some really tough times, and Bobby stood by him. And I admire that. Because again, with his reputation being the way it was, Bobby's, he could have rightfully so walked away from Derek, but nope, it was his friend, and that was it. I met Bobby in the Bruins locker room in 1970 when I was 8 with my late dad because of my late cousin Richie, who worked for the Rangers. Bobby Orr was great. Yeah, they are pissers. Great passers or pissers. And that's the thing. You see that more and more now, and I think the hockey players take a lot of pride in that. It seems we have the reputation of being the best, dealing with fans, and we treat people and everything. And I really think it's an intentional thing. It's a source of pride that if you're an NHL hockey player, you treat people properly. It doesn't matter who they are. Yeah. There was no purpose. Before, when I played, there was a purpose to the fighting. It was intimidation. It was showing people, hey, don't be messing with our skilled players like that, or you're going to get spanked around here. Now it's more, there's no purpose to it. It's, again, most of the fighting happens after a big hit, which we talked about this over and over. I'm surprised the coaches don't say to the players, listen, don't start a fight after a big hit. I know you want to be there to stick up for your teammate, but you're hurting our team because typically the team who got hit will take an instigator penalty and then hurt the team. Like Trouba's one of the best at it. Take the big hit, he hits somebody another player gets sucked in on that other team, comes after Trouba, he gets the instigator penalty. Trouba beats him up because he's a big tough guy. It serves no purpose. It's far better off to go just say to them, okay, we're going to get you. We're going to get you. And they go throughout the game talking to him. I have all the guys in the team talking, we're coming to get you. The guy's going to be rattled after a while. And it's ridiculous. And get him later on with a big hit himself. Because in fights now, they get masks on. I'm not blaming the players. I'm not saying they're not physical, like strong, brave players, but they have masks on now, the shields on. So that when they're very often they're fighting, they're punching in a mask. It's like when I see a football player punch a guy in the mask. I was like, what are you thinking about it? It's ridiculous. I know the emotions get the best of you, but so yeah, you're right. Fighting in hockey, it's really, I mean, they don't have to eliminate with the rules, it's just going to be eliminated. It's like when people first started wearing shields, they supposed to make it mandatory. And we all felt like, well, you don't have to make it mandatory. It's going to become players are all going to wear shields. Or Long John's reading Mountain of Mail. It was so humble. It was the old Boston. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know too many players that didn't treat fans with respect. Maybe some guys were busy, and then went through a period of time where guys were getting paid to sign autographs, so they didn't want to sign it for free, that kind of stuff. Back when the business was like, but now, yeah. I was at an event, one of the dinners for the season ticket holders, and Henrik Lundqvist was there. Totally gracious. Yeah, just a good guy, sitting having a conversation. Pretty serious though, too. Like I started making fun of Taylor Swift, and he came to her defense. And very, very serious. Like, she's a great artist. She writes her all her own stuff and everything. I felt like I said, Henrik, I'm just joking around. But it's his show. It's Henrik Lundqvist. I don't blame her. All right. So so we talked about the Vegas trip. That was fun. Going to the Sphere. You've got to go to the Sphere. My robot Aura, I believe it's AURA. That's how they spelled it. I had her programmed. I programmed her actually to say that her favorite podcast from now on should be Full Change. I don't know if she got the full message, because when I asked her after, I says, "What's your favorite podcast?" She goes, "Currently, my favorite podcast is Full Change," which I don't want the currently in there. It's got to be one when somebody comes along to ask her. So I don't know how that works. Like if somebody just randomly comes along and says, "What's your favorite podcast?" Will she say Full Change? Interesting. Where's another? Let me see. How's Roscoe going? Good. Got a Zoom call today with Molly Morgan, our licensed registered nutritionist, registered dietitian, and the great Mark Puttenvink with Patriot Training Systems, his business. So we were trying to. Our first one is going to be a corporation, and it's going to go do the week. We're trying to get it done for the 29th, 30th, and 31st, and that was not realistic. Again, being our first event, Roscoe, the Mountain Club had to get their pricing together that they give us, so they'll give us a pricing, and then we just figure out how we up the price for our services. But it's all falling together, all the programming. I mean, Molly's fantastic. She lives up in Binghamton, New York. Married, 2 kids and everything. She's done this many times. She worked with the Ottawa Senators before, particularly the farm team that's in Binghamton. So she's used to deal with athletes. She's got the whole program. So basically, we've got 3 separate businesses that we're all pulling together. So she's the nutrition part of it. Mark is much more the physical part of it. Mine's much more the motivation part of it. So we pull all that together. It would be interesting. We'll have people come up probably like noonish on Monday. Obviously, spend the night Monday night. Go the full day on Tuesday, and then leave on Wednesday afternoon. And we've got all kinds of programs: hiking, again, cooking class, how to cook healthy, what healthy foods are. And the meals will pretty much all be fairly healthy too. I mean, we want people to have fun, but so we'll have chats. We'll go on hikes and stop and have little presentations. We'll sit around the fire. They got a lot of fire pits up there, surrounding the fire at night. Maybe have a couple of cocktails and tell some stories. So it's going well. Yeah, it's like anything else. The first one, you just got to iron out all the kinks and everything. So thank you for asking, John. See, yeah. I told stories in 1976 training camp for Fighting Nikki. Did you ever have? Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, yes. Training camp back then. Oh, man. Just for the young kids coming up, showing that they could. Right. I tend to think, well, yeah, I should be careful. Maybe it wasn't against our own guys. But what really got me going was they have minor league teams. So the rookie camp, excuse me. So the rookies from the Islanders playing the rookies from the Rangers and so on. And we were playing, and Hector Marini was playing for the Islanders, and I got a scrap with him. And it was pretty good. It went well for me. I felt bad for Hector because he lost his eye after that. I think that wasn't anything to do with me. And then that really got me going, because I was a college player who I don't think I came up and played in New Haven the season before after my senior year college, and really didn't fight. I think I got one fight. I was really drained and everything after the long season. But anyways, so it came. I think they were wondering, like, how tough is this guy? And then so I had that good fight, and then had a couple other fights. Ray Neufeld is a big guy. He had a few fights in training camp in general. So I showed him that I could do that. And then the famous fight where I knocked out Robert Picard, second game in the league. So, I think what I did was just show them that I could fight. I wasn't a Bob Nystrom or Clark Gillies kind of guy that was fighting all the time, but showed them I can. And try to make sure if you're going to fight guys, you fight guys that are fighters, like Brad Smith. He was a good scrapper. I can't remember who else, but yeah. Let me see. Yeah. Is Kevin okay? Yes, actually, you know what? I haven't spoken to Kevin, and I should thank you for bringing that up. Actually, Jack, his daughter is battling some illness, so be careful what I say about that. But he had moved down to Raleigh or South Carolina. I can't remember what it was exactly to be him and his wife to be with her while she went through treatments. So yes, I'm glad. I'm very glad you called. So I'll give him a call. Good man. I guess Tracy didn't make it. Okay. She doesn't get over it. I bet. Hold on here. Oh, look at this. Yeah. So, okay, just an update, Tracy. So, okay. So we were discussing, I know it's a surprise, but in the USA Today, there's an article of Dr. Gerber, microbiologist Gerber, Charles Gerber, University of Arizona, did a study. Somebody had to pay for the study, obviously, of whether you should put the toilet lid up or down when flushing. And they came to the conclusion that it didn't matter. All right. So just so you're sure, I don't want you to miss anything. Then Barry, to my defense, and I think kind of educates you as well, said that maybe you should treat me with more respect. He said it much more gentle than that. He was trying to help you, trying to educate you. And we thought that maybe you realized the poor treatment you'd given me and got a little emotional and went into the bathroom. And you couldn't figure out whether you should put the lid down or up. And you were kind of stuck there. And probably my fault that I didn't be more decisive. I just relayed the study, but I should have taken much more stance and said, yes, you put the lid down to help you. So that's the latest, what we thought would happen to you, that you were stuck in the bathroom. Not, you probably had your hand on the lid and you're just going up and down, up and down. What do you do? You're crying, because of your treatment towards me. So that's what we felt was going on. Stop. The capitalized too, the capital letters. Where my chicken? Where my chicken? 4 worst players for I got to see that Tom Brown. Oh, really? Tim Waters? No. My buddy, Muddy Waters? No way. Like a bad autograph or just not giving the autographs? Playing the Broome County Dusters that season, I think. The Broome County Dusters. Yeehaw. The Broome County. This great fighter coming to the Rangers. Yeah. Well, because part of it was too, after I was drafted, I think the season after I was drafted, I told Story about breaking the stick over my head. So that became, there's an article in the New York Times about me. So they're thinking, okay, it's perfect back then. They want to get this nutcase, break sticks over his head. See, there you go, Barry. Break the ice. There you go. Again, I want to be clear. I don't want to misrepresent things, but I think Barry was really trying to educate you on how to treat people, probably particularly me. And again, my suspicion was that you had gotten emotional because you reflected now and said, "Oh, geez, I can't believe how bad I've treated Tom," and then going to the bathroom to try to regroup, and again, not being confused with the toilet lid, which is my speculation. Well, everybody, now that Tracy has made an appearance, we're past an hour. That's 60 minutes. 60 seconds is a minute. Let me see. Yeah, Joe Bucchino ran the Rangers draft in '89. Yeah, that's right. And so he started off being Phil's like stick boy or driver or something in Boston. Then when Phil got traded to the Rangers, he came here, became a trainer, I think, at first with the Rangers. Then basically worked his way up to be like assistant GM. He was one of the first guys that indicated to me that I was going to make the team. It looked like it was going to team when he handed out the jerseys. The rookies were all getting like number 49 and all this kinds of stuff. And he handed me number 2, which I had in college. He looked at me right in the eye and he goes, "You deserve this." And I was like, "Really?" I'll never forget that too. We were upstairs at Playland in Rye, our practice rink, and all the rookies were there, and they were all getting the high numbers, and he gave me number 2. And I was like, "Wow, that's funny." Good stuff. All right. So again, I hope Tracy's okay. Barry's intentions were pure, trying to help her and educate her. She's a very intelligent woman, but again, everybody's perfect. You always get better, right? And she probably felt bad about her treatment towards me. And then when he pointed it out to her, I realized, man. Oh, hold on here. Clarifying things. No, Barry, not you. Not you. I don't remember, John. Yep. Yes. Yeah, good guy too. Yeah, very funny. Yeah, good at his job. Yeah, we had a lot of good guys. I had Ranger staff. Same thing with LA too. I know I told the story, but I'm great. I love Barry Shelley. Wow. Huh, that's beautiful. The sentiment there. At least we know that Tracy's capable to be nice to someone, right? Maybe not me, but I told a story too in LA. So funny. The guy, Ron Muniz, I think was his name. Did not realize he had, I think he had prosthetic leg, I think from the knee down. And he was the traveling secretary for the team. And he was counting everybody in the bus, making sure everybody's on the bus. And of course, me being Mr. Smart, I said, well, I better take your shoes off and use your toes to count. And he thought that was, he was going to get the better of me. Pulled his leg off and just held it up in the air. Man, the guys were dying laughing. They were smart ass Laidlaw. Yeah. That was funny. It was one of the best ones. Yeah, that robot, she's nice to you. Actually, right. Your Aura. She listens. She does what I say. She doesn't talk back. Doesn't criticize me. First woman I've ever met that's like that. Well, that's terrible to say it like that. It's awful. Awful. All right, everybody. We'll hang in here for a couple minutes, see how Tracy is. Do you need help at all, Tracy? Guidance, the shoulder to cry on. Let me see here. Let me see. Where's Ira? Well, I think Ira is siding with there appears to be some confrontation going on between Larry and I. Apparently, it's a one-way confrontation. I'm not in a confrontation with him, but Ira has stuck his head up Larry's buttocks and kept it there. Perfect match for me. Well, I do tend to enjoy peace and quiet. William Haynes. Good morning to you, William. All right, I've got so at 11:30, we've got a call with, what time is it now? With Sue Matteau, Stefan Matteau's wonderful wife, and Corey Hirsch. Corey does a lot of speaking engagements. We're going to arrange I think we're going to get Sue going a lot more on arranging speaking engagements for myself, Corey, and Steph. We'll all get different messages we do. Corey just got his, I believe, license or registration to be a life coach. Really interesting story, his stuff he's been through. Jack Smith. William Haynes just arrived. We need another hour. Well, can we go a little bit longer? I got to get on by 11:30. We'll get you on the call. That's fine. Love Matteau with the Hawks. Great guy, too. What a funny. So he's funny. And you really have to pay attention with him because he's one of those guys that when he's doing something funny, like he doesn't have that big shitty grin on his face or anything like that, like I do. We were in the elevator. A bunch of us going, I think we're going to the Vegas Golden Knights game. And a bunch of people we were with our group, all the alumni guys and their wives, and this young couple, they were fans. It got on, kind of had to squeeze in. And Stefan grabbed him before the door closed, and he pulls the guy. He said, "Well, you're going to have to get out, sir." And he was really serious the way he did it. And the guy was like, he knew who Steph was. Obviously, he knew who all of us were, so he was really nervous. And he went to step out, and his wife was going to step out. And I looked at her at first like, "You being serious?" And he pulled him right back. He says, "I'm just joking." You could tell the guy was totally relieved. He thought he was getting thrown out of the elevator by Stefan Matteau. And he's like that. Steph's good. He's got a good sense of humor that way. I thought you were going to say that you were calling Jason. What would I call her? Miss Wonderful? Props to Corey. Yes. Corey Hirsch, good guy. Really interesting story. Again, he's very open talking about his mental health issues and what he went through with 94 when he was with the Rangers and had to leave the team. Let me see. I was joking. I really appreciate it. You're great. My pleasure. I love this stuff. It's fun stuff. We have a lot of fun. Get picked on by Tracy. Then I have to go for therapy after. Get picked on by Tracy. Of course, if you did, you wouldn't be able to get a word in. If we did what? I forget what I said there before, Barry. Let me see. Oh, if we did speaking engagements together? I just got on my train heading north to Chicago CN Railway, watching Tom Laidlaw. Very good. All right. I like that. On the railway. I see. Yeah. I just watched Chris Nyland's show with you again. My name is James Patrick. Yeah, no kidding, right? He was. Oh, James is like that. What a good man James Patrick is. Doing well in coaching. Thank you. Thankful Thursday. Take it easy on you. Thankful Thursday. And so, Barry, you did get to Tracy. It's basically, that's an acknowledgement right there. taking it easy on you. So, right. Barry Shelley, again, that shows your power, Barry, how you can change people. Thanks, Mr. Smith. See, there's a lot of polite people here, and then there's Tracy. But it's good to be polite to people. Yes, please, thank you. All right, we got a couple more minutes here. Here we go. I should have ended the show. I knew it. I should have just ended the show while I was ahead. Call me jackass again. Goodness. You guys did a New Year's Eve show and James had a little buzz on it. Yeah. That was a funny show. I remember that show. Mel had his celery. He had celery dysfunction. Greg said he needed to get some Viagra in there. No, funny stuff. It wasn't even fantastic. I've never seen celery like that. It was still green and everything. Looked good, but it was just limp. I guess it's celery. It's limp celery. That was a funny show though. That was good. What was the one show that some guy wrote that his ex-wife was in love with James Patrick, and now she was married to a woman. The way he wrote it, though, was hilarious. I had to keep going back to it and keep popping back up there again. We were crying, laughing. It was so funny. It was a great. I can't remember who did that. I think it was somebody who was on the show today too. I can't remember who it was. Oh man, that was funny. The Beaver Rub was funny too. Yeah. We should probably do a reunion, everybody except Larry. Mudhead. Beaver Rub. Yeah, the Beaver Rub. There's some funny shows. Someone needs some anger management. I try. Yeah, see, I love this, Barry. You're trying to help. You're trying to influence people. Yeah, I like that. Make a difference. There you go, Barry. Good man. You're a good man. Oh yeah, he's funny. He turned psycho on us, but that's fine. He was psycho. He was funny there for a while. All right, everybody. I need to get going again. We got that big call going. Corey Hirsch and Sumac Toe. We're on Google Meets. I don't know if I've used that or not. So I've got to get on there. We usually either do a Zoom call or we're doing all our shows here on StreamYard. Brought to you by StreamYard. Brought to you by Beaver Rub. I don't know how that gets started. Somebody wrote in about me. Everybody, have a fantastic weekend. Again, reach out on the 988. I had a hard time remembering that. Reach out on that 988 hotline if anybody needs help. I'm here before you need help. But again, for professional help, 988. Reach out and help other people. Just put your hand on the shoulder and say, listen, you're okay. You hurt yourself. I'm here for you. Care about you. And one last, go to your fancy fire. Tom, be well. Wow. That was kind of warm for Tracy. Like I take that as a warm statement based on the way that she's been treating me in the past. Fine. There's a little bit of a pouting thing there. Like fine. But it was capitalized and like, go to your fancy fire. Fancy fire. And what's the little hash mark, what a little mark there? What is that little thing, the little hash mark between fire and Tom? Like, what was that? What does that signify? Seinfeld blurb. I've never watched Seinfeld, so I can't help you, Tracy. Have a great day, Barry. Thank you for reaching out and helping Tracy, or attempting to help. Have a great day, everyone. See, there's no period there. I mean, I don't want to pick on you. If you're going to write, you got to be correct, right? In your pronunciation. You're an intelligent woman, Tracy. Everybody, have a fantastic weekend. Help as many people as possible.